everyone. Good afternoon, Assalamualaikum, and a very warm welcome to all attendees of Budget 2021 talk. So this talk is organized by Utah Center for Corporate and Community Development in collaboration with Center for Accounting, Banking and Finance and Faculty of Business and Finance, Utah Kampa. Right, so I suppose before we begin, please allow me to make some housekeeping announcement. Yeah, so for your information, the microphone function for the attendees has been muted by default, and we shall have the Q&A session at the end of the two speaker session. So should you have any question to ask, what you can do is type it out in the Q&A box down there at the screen. Okay, you can see it down the screen. There is a Q&A button there, right? And then we shall address those questions accordingly at the end of the session. Okay, so and maybe I should also highlight that if you look at the chat box, we already have the sign in link so that you can key in your attendance there, right? And towards the end of the session, we shall also give you another link for the sign out. So that is for the attendance. All right, now. So I guess let's go back to the topic of Budget 2021. Well, year 2021 is definitely a year to remember. You know, with this, we have seen how COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected the global social well-being and the global economic well-being, and Malaysia, our country, is not excluded. And with this COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with our local political situation, I believe this budget in 2021 is one that is highly anticipated by the nation, by whole nation, be it individuals, be it the business entities, right? So we have seen on November 6th, our federal government has unveiled the biggest budget ever in our history, amounting about 322 billion ringgit. And apparently it has also been passed at the policy stage, now moving on to be further deliberated at the committee stage. So today, we are very lucky to have two of our faculty members to further enlighten us to discuss about the items, the components in Budget 2021. Yeah. So for the first speaker, we have Dr. Tan Swee Kiao, who will be focusing more on the general budget allocation. And this will be followed by our second speaker, Mr. Wong Tai Seng, who will then be explaining more on the taxation component, okay, the corporate and also individual taxation part. So before we start, maybe I'll just give a brief introduction about our speaker. First, Dr. Tan Swee Kiao is our assistant professor at Faculty of Business and Finance, Utah Kampa. Before she joined Utah, she worked in the private sector as the finance and admin manager, and she received her doctorate from University Industri Selangor, UNISEL. And professionally, Dr. Tan is an associate member of Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, as well as the associate member of Malaysian Institute of Accountants, MIA, right? And as for our second speaker, Mr. Wong, so Mr. Wong Tai Seng is a specialist at the Department of Commerce and Accountancy of Faculty of Business and Faculty of Business and Finance, Utah Kampa. And he had recently obtained his Masters of Philosophy in Accounting and Business from Utah. He is a fellow member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountant, UK, a member of Malaysian Institute of Accountants, MIA, and also a member of Chartered Tax Institute of Malaysia. And he is a licensed tax agent with more than 10 years of experience, right? So without further ado, let us all welcome Dr. Tan Swee Kiao to speak on the topic. Dr. Tan, floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Nurul Afida. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at next year's budget together. Okay, this is the first budget tabled by the Perikatan Nasional on 6 November 2020. Right now, members of parliament are debate at the committee stage. They will debate until 15 December. Already passed the policy stage on 26 November. And the final reading will be on 17 December. once Member of Parliament pass at the final reading, they will get approval from the Agong. Once Agong approve on it, then the Finance Act is published in Government Gazette. Okay, this year, next year budget is focused on rakyat's well-being, business continuous, and also how to recover the economic. Due to our economic is heavily affected by COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, let's see where is the money comes from for our next year budget. It allocate in total 322.54 billion. Major part of it is from income tax, which is 40.9%. It consists of individual companies, petroleum withholding tax, and corporate tax, and followed by indirect tax. Okay, which get from the export duty, import duties, and excise duties. Excise duties means that domestic tax. Also from sales and service tax and tourism tax. It is 13.2%. Also, we get the revenue from non-tax revenue, which is from the license, permits, service fees, sales of government asset. Okay, these three components of revenue add together is less than our budget allocation. So it is deficit by 84.84 billion. No choice, government have to take the borrowings and also use of government asset in order to cover, to get the enough money for our budget allocation next year. Okay, now we look at how the government spend the money. Okay, due to this year our economy is heavily affected by COVID-19, and our Ministry of Health did put in a lot of effort to fighting for it. So government allocate COVID-19 fund in next year budget for Ministry of Health to buy equipment and the medicine to fight. They continue to fight for the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, our other budget is we break down into two categories. One is operating expenditure, which is 73.3% of the total budget, and the balance is for developing expenditure, which is 21.4%. If you look at this diagram, you can see that major part of the budget allocation actually is for salary and wages for government servant, which is in total 84.53 billion. And also government did allocate retirement benefits to them, because government servant, they can choose, they want to get retirement benefit or contribute to EPF. And balance, okay, since we borrow so much money, we have to pay financing charges, which is 12.1% of the total budget allocation. Federal government did allocate fund to all the state government, to different state, which is 2.4%, and for other miscellaneous expenses is 8%. Okay, for development expenditure, actually it's quite low, 21.4% only, consists of security, social, and economic for these three main areas. Okay, now we look at some of the budget highlights. Okay, to appreciate the MOH frontliners hardworking from day and night since early this year, government paid them one-off payment 500 for those frontliners. Whereas for other frontliners, for example, police, they will get 300 one-off payment. And for government servant, they will get a one-off 600. And those pensioners and veterans, they will get 300 one-off. And for new graduate, for those who have intention to further study, they will get a 3,000 voucher if they enroll for any professional courses like CIMA, ACCA, CPA Australia, or other professional courses, those engineering courses, in approved local university or private college. This is a cash voucher, not cash to you. And for those employees to contribute SOCSO. And when you contribute SOCSO, you must buy the insurance. We call it employment insurance scheme. And now they lost their job due to pandemic. So they will get 9 months allowance. Actually, it's 6 months. For normally previously, as long as you got buy this EIS, this insurance, you lost your job. SOCSO will pay you allowance 6 months. But due to this pandemic, they pay you 9 months allowance. Your first month you lost your job, you apply to SOCSO, you get 80% of your salary. Second to 6 months, 50% of your basic salary, and 7 to 9 months, you will get 30% of your salary. This is to reduce the burden of those who lost their job because they may need to, at least they got some money for them to survive and they need to support their family. Okay, and due to this pandemic, quite a number of companies, either they close shop or they can't survive in a very difficult situation, especially those tourism and retail sector. That's why government give them these two sector targeted wages subsidy. For those workers work in these two industry, if their salary is not more than 4,000, government will subsidize 600 ringgit per month for those workers, and up to limit to per employer. They can apply for their company workers up to 500 workers only. Let's say they got 600 workers in a company who got 4,000 salary and below, only 500 of them entitled for this subsidy. This is to reduce the employer's burden because they still have to pay their workers' salaries. Okay, deadline to apply for this wages subsidy is up to this year at 31st December. Besides that, because got so many people lost the job, so they did have a mindset program. It is a contract-based jobs in public sector, a short-term employment program, allocate 700 million, which provide 50,000 contract-based jobs opportunity in public sector and government-linked corporations. At least those unemployed, at least if they get this opportunity, they got a short-term job, got some short-term income. It's a good project. Okay, now we look at what are the personal incentives given to those B40 groups. Okay, first one is a 50 ringgit cash voucher to purchase the non-protection products, including Takafu, life and personal accident insurance. It means that when they purchase the insurance, they can get a discount of 50 ringgit. And also this stamp duty exemption, actually last year when they extended until 2025. So for those B40 group, they purchase life insurance products with premium not more than 100, they are entitled stamp duty exemption. Still, stamp duty exemption for all these insurance product is 10 ringgit per insurance, is a fixed rate. Okay, the next one, telecommunication credit for new phone or internet subscription. Okay, if they can use this 180 the voucher to buy a new phone, balance they top up themselves, or to offset with the internet subscription, also to reduce their burden. Okay, the next one, this one is talk about monthly rate for financial assistance for children from low income range family. Okay, every month they pay 200 a child for those aged between 6 years old and below, 150 per child for those aged between 7 to 18 years old, maximum 1,000 per family. This one is applied through Department of Welfare. Today's newspaper got one opposition party members of parliament bring up this issue. She said last time is 200 to 300 per month given. now suddenly increased to 1,000 per family. Last time it's 200 to 300, depends on the situation per family they give. So, see question, where is the money comes from? Huh? Every month given 1,000 because so many poor families in Malaysia are still waiting for the answer. See how they answer because see look at it, budget allocation for this is not enough. How to give per month? Hmm. Then another benefit given to those B40 is for those who got applied, got a car loan, housing loan earlier, due to the pandemic, they can't make payment. Government already allowed them to delay the payment. Now allow them to automatic further delay another 3 months to 6 months. For automatic delay 3 months, uh, it means that you totally no need to make payment. For one to further delay for 6 months, they have to pay at least 50% of the loan repayment within that 6 months. Each month you pay 50% of your original loan. Let's say you're supposed to pay 300. Now you pay 150 per month. I mean, this will reduce their financial burden at this time. Of course, interest still counted, still have to pay the loan interest. Okay, this is another financial assistance given to our citizen here. Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat. The old name is called Bantuan Sara Hidup. They replaced to Bantuan Prihatin. Okay, for those household income not more than 2005 and with one child only, they will get 1,002. If they got two children and above, they will get 1,008. And for those household income with 2005 and one ringgit to 4,000 and with one child will get 800. If with two children and above will get 1,002. And for those household income with 4,000 and one ringgit to 5,000 and with one child will get 500, with two children and above will get 750. Okay, for those single individual with income not more than 2005 and 21 years and above will get 350. Last time under Bantuan Sara Hidup, the age limit is 40 years old. Now they reduced to 21 years old. Okay, how to apply for this? For this year application only closed. For those last time under Bantuan Sara Hidup, they were automatic entitled under Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat. And for those, because we got income tax under Inland Revenue Board got our record. So they got our record that for those household income below how much you got how many children, they got a record automatic entitled this BPR. So for those one this year not entitled, but next year you are entitled, next year you already retire or you are not jobless. Okay, next year January they will open for you all to apply online. I still don't know which website, but very easy only. If you do so, you will look for political party. They are willing to help you to apply for it. Okay, now we look at the next grant. This special Prihatin grant, 1,000 ringgit, is given to traders and hawkers in Sabah and the tax for those taxi drivers, e-hailing drivers, car rental, and tourist guide in Sabah. This is because COVID-19 pandemic uh, outbreak in Sabah quite seriously in early this year. So those sectors are seriously affected by it. So give them a special Prihatin grant. Okay, we look at this illustration to see how it works, all this financial assistance, how it works. Okay, Mr. Alex, a taxi driver working in Sabah. He got household income below 2001. It means that Mr. Alex is under B40 group. Mr. Alex has 6 children between 7 years old and 17 years old. And Mr. Alex has to pay housing loan. Mr. Alex also contribute EPF and SOCSO. Okay, under budget 2021, Mr. Alex is eligible to receive. Okay, this one I will explain further under ICNA program. If Mr. Alex want to withdraw EPF money from account 1, EPF will pay him money over 6 months. It's his own money, okay, it's his own money. And he will get, since he got 6 children aged between 7 to 17 years old, so each child will get 150, he will get 900, and also DPR assistant 1008, because he is under wait, sorry, I supposed to go up. He is under this category, this category. Okay, also he's entitled telecommunication credit worth 180. Also Prihatin Special Grant 1000 because he is Sabahan. And also he got a housing loan entitled for automatic defer to make the payment. Okay, government also did take care those unfortunate parties. Okay, OKU means that orang kurang upaya. They will get a work assistance increase from 250 to 300. This one pay to them per month. For those older person, carers of OKU and chronically ill patient, they will get 500 allowance per month from next year onwards. And this year is 350. And for OKU workers incentive allowance also increased from 400 to 450. And for those home health service carer, their allowance will increase from 30 to 80 ringgit. And they go to their OKU home, those old people home, to take care of those helpers, they got the allowance. Okay, this is another program called Community Drumming Program, which is for Sabahan and Salawakiang only. This allocation, 200 million, is for those people to accept the basic needs. I mean, to help them, to give them a basic needs for them. At least God can cover some of their living expenses. Okay, agriculture industry did contribute a lot to our country. So to give recognition to their contribution, government also give some assistance to farmers and fishermen. For example, it gives 1.7 billion subsidies and incentive to farmers and fishermen. For example, price subsidy. Paddy, we got quite a number of our farmers are paddy, they planted paddy. So the price is quite low. So government will give them subsidy to control the price. They will purchase from them at a certain price to subsidize them. And also, when they plant the fruits, all these things, they have to buy fertilizer, subsidize them on fertilizer as well. And for fishermen, give them every month living allowance for from 250 increase to 300 next year onwards every month. For those rubber tappers, because during raining season, they can't tap the rubber, so they got no income. So during that monsoon season, government will give them 300 per month so that they got some income for it, for the small estate rubber tappers only. Okay, up to now, total population in Malaysia is 32.73 million. Female is 15.84 million, which is 48.4% about. It means that almost half of our population here is female. So government did appreciate their contribution, and so to encourage women to move further, government provide those financial aids to them. They can apply loan through all these financial institutions. Besides this, we also women, they are at a weaker point. So some will be facing domestic violence, divorce, or abuse by their spouse. So government did provide local social support centers to protect them and their children if they facing all these problems. Also, due to quite a number of women are working outside. So government did build some child care center so they can send their children to those child care center run by the government. And government did take care women's health care, provide them subsidy for them to do medical checkup on cervical cancer screening program and mammogram test subsidy. Okay, students are our country's future leader. So our government did emphasize on education. Okay, now we are at pandemic situation. Quite a number of months, uh, students study at home, and now government give those PTPTN loan holders can borrow money from banks in Pangan to purchase laptop. I would say it's a bit late. It's a bit late. We already study online quite some times already, but at least better than nothing. They can get a loan to buy laptop. And since we study online, they also allocate fund to stable the internet connection, and also provide fund to upgrade and maintenance the government school. And this one every year they provide fund for it. And also there is a supplementary new plan for those primary school student, those from low income families only, limited, is a limited. Okay, uh, to reduce the traffic jam in Klang Valley, actually since June this year, government did provide My 30 unlimited travel pass. So those working adults or students or whoever interested, resident only, resident Malaysia only, and those Malaysian only, they can apply this. You pay 30 ringgit per month. You can unlimited access travel in Klang Valley, take bus or LRT, unlimited time. Now next year will expanded to Penang and Kuantan. And also there's a unlimited access monthly travel pass, 5 ringgit only for students from standard 1 to form 6 and for those disabled person. But this is for train services only, commuter. For them to take commuter in Klang Valley or commuter in Northern Sector commuter Kuala Lipis, Tumpak Intercity Train and Beaufort Cannon Line in Sabah. This one excluding bus or LRT, just commuter. Okay, government also not forget those stay in rural area. They did provide fund for rural infrastructure, for to do a repair maintenance on roads, provide clean water, electricity, and for those poor people, if their house is in a very bad situation, they can apply to money to repair their house. There's a fund allocated for it. Also for lighting purpose. And they will provide mobile banking services in Sabah and Sarawak next year. Okay, now we look at how Bank Negara Malaysia provide funds to those people affected by COVID-19. Okay, first fund they provided, they call it Targeted Relief and Recovery Facility. This is for those small businessmen where you are involved in food and beverage services or human health or social work. As long as your business is affected by COVID-19 pandemic and you need fund to turn around your business, you can apply this fund. The interest rate is 3.5% only. You can apply it through participating financial institution. It never mentioned which bank. you interested, you can go to the bank and ask. But normally bank rakyat, bank simpanan Malaysia, bank simpanan nasional or Maybank, they will provide. Okay, who are interested, you can go to this website to look for further information. Can start to apply from 1st December onwards, this December onwards. Okay, also another fund called High Tech Facility. This is for those SME who are involved in high tech sectors. For example, in fertilizer and synthetic rubber, or do some chemical products or refined petroleum products. Okay, then they are eligible to apply this loan. And another loan is called Micro Enterprises Facility. It's for those who are involved in micro enterprises or on digital platforms. They can apply for this fund. Again, who are interested, you can go to this Bank Negara website to look for further information. Okay, now we look at the EPF. EPF, okay, our EPF contribution is like that. Those employees, you are work with either private sector or government servant, employer have to pay EPF for you. Employee also have to contribute EPF. Now we look at employees contribution. Right now we contribute at 11%. So because of the pandemic, so it proposed to reduce from 11% to 9% from next year, one whole year. Okay, automatic reduce. Those who don't want to reduce it, you have to submit the form KWSP 17A to your company's HR department to indicate that you want to maintain your EPF contribution at 11%, reduce 2% so that individual has more cash in hand, got more money to spend, so will boost up the economy. And also, those EPF members, they are allowed to withdraw money from account 2 to purchase the life insurance, Takaful coverage products, and for critical illness. Okay, our EPF, those money EPF members contribute to EPF account. We break it down into account 1 and account 2. So for account 1 is 70% of our contribution. Account 2 is 30%. So account 2, members can withdraw anytime. You can withdraw it to buy your first house, or withdraw it to buy mutual fund, or withdraw it for your further study, or for medical treatment. You can withdraw money from account 2. Whereas for account 1, is purely for you to withdraw when you retire, because government worried after you retire you got no job, you got nothing, you got no money. So account 1 for retire purpose. But right now, due to COVID-19 pandemic, so EPF allow you to withdraw money from account 1. It called it iSINA program. Okay, iSINA program, you want to apply for it, they break it down the members into 2 categories. Okay, it means that if you are under category 1, then you still have to apply. Okay, who are eligible to apply for it? For those currently who lost their job and EPF got a record for at least 2 months you didn't contribute EPF, or for those housewives, previously you got working, you got EPF account, now you be a full-time housewife, and or now you are no pay leave. Okay, those categories of people are entitled to apply iSINA. Okay, criteria for category 1 is as follows. You will not contribute EPF for at least 2 continuous months, and they are still working. Their basic pay cut at least 30% and above from March 2020 onwards. Why they put March 2020? This is because our country locked down on March, so that's why they put this date. And so For these categories of members, they no need submit any supporting document. Approval is automatic. Just submit online through icena.kwsp.government.my. They can start to apply on 21st December onwards, and payment will be from middle of January next year, middle of next year. This is for category 1. Okay, now we look at category 2. Category 2 also get a pay cut, but this pay cut, because they got the overtime, they got allowance, so a bit difficult to determine. So they need supporting documents from members. For example, your salary before and after reduction of income. You say, I get paid cut 30%. How to support it? Also give this salary before and after. Or employer's notice of suspension on your overtime, on your allowance, or reduction of your allowance. And if you can't get all this supporting, give the bank statement, because nowadays our employers bank in our salary to our bank account. So IRB can access from your bank account before and after how much money go inside your bank account. And for this category, they only can apply from next year onwards, 11 January 2021. Same thing apply to the same website. Okay, be aware of fake ICNA X. Okay, this is because now already got all these fake X appear already. EPF not endorse any third parties for withdrawal, and is applied through online, not through any mobile apps. If they got any query, they can call this EPF telephone for further to ask for further information. Okay, now we look at how much money members can withdraw from EPF. Okay, so for those who got 100,000 and below in account 1, they can withdraw any amount up to maximum 10,000. And payment will be staggered over a period of 6 months, with first month up to 5,000. Let's say a person withdraw 10,000. First month give you 5,000, balance 5,000 will pay each month 1,000 over second to 6 months. And for those who have more than 100,000 in account 1, they can withdraw maximum 10% of their account 1 saving, but not more than 60,000. See whichever is lower. And also payment also will pay over 6 months period. First payment 10,000, balance pay equally over the next 5 months. Okay, why want to pay them over 6 months period and not pay one shot? Okay, they pay first month with higher amount because they know that they need money when school open, or they will, EPF also consider those members, they may need money to start their own business. That's why first month they pay more, subsequent 5 months they pay less. Also another, they can't pay all together also, because after that EPF members spend all the money, then for the next few months what to do with them, and they also consider that. Also another thing EPF to consider is EPF itself its own cash flow problem. If everybody withdraw a lot, one shot you pay, they were having a cash flow problem, and they also want to maintain their capital structure, their investment structure. That's why they make payment over 6 months period. And those members who withdraw money from account 1, they must remain at least 100 ringgit in account 1, minimum 100 ringgit. And also in future, when they are working back, they could start to contribute the EPF. All the money must go to account 1 first, so that when they all retire, got money. So until let's say they withdraw 10,000, next time when they start to contribute back EPF, all the money will go to account 1 until fully cover the 10,000. Later on, only will go back to 70% to account 1, 30% to account 2. Okay. Those who are interested to withdraw money from EPF, not to say interested, if you need the money, you better think twice, because we look at the compound interest impact to EPF members if they withdraw money now. Okay, this table not created by me. I get it from Singchu Daily, published on 23rd November from an expert who calculated. He said if we withdraw 10,000 now, 10 years later it will be, we will get 17,000. The principal 10,000 you withdrawn plus the interest. If you didn't withdraw, you get 17,000. If you didn't withdraw 10,000 now, you will get 22,000 plus in 15 years later. 20 years later, you'll get 29,000 plus. 25 years later, get 38,000 plus plus. Let's say if you withdraw 60,000 now, 10 years later, it will become 102,000 if you didn't withdraw. If you didn't withdraw, 15 years later, your 60,000 will become 130, about 134,000. If you didn't withdraw 60,000, 20 years later, it will become 175,000. 25 years later, it will become 229,000. So think twice before you withdraw it. This is because it based on the average compound interest rate of 5.5%. And normally, EPF interest rate is quite high. It's much higher than your money, you put your money in the fixed deposit. That's why it's based on this rate. So think twice before you want to withdraw it. Okay, beside EPF members can withdraw money and withdraw their own money. Also for those who are invest in state-owned pension fund, now they are allowed to withdraw 6,000 from over the next 12 months. I mean, within next 12 months, they can withdraw from their own state-owned pension fund. Okay, now we look at e-wallet and e-rebate. This is a before now they are debate at the committee stage. Before that, the original proposal is one of 50 ringgit to e-wallet to those aged between 18 and 20 years old. But after when they are debate at committee stage for our budget, so they revise it, become pay 100 credited to e-wallet to those between 18 and 20 years old, plus public and private university students, including, I mean, those more than 20 years old. As long as you are still studying in the university, you are eligible for it. So all the UTA students are qualified to get this 100 ringgit. Okay, and also to encourage our citizens to buy our local products. So those who buy local aircon and local manufactured aircon and local manufactured refrigerator, they are entitled a rebate of 200. 200 is like you buy aircon 200 rebate, you buy refrigerator another 200 rebate. Okay, government did hope that everybody has their own house. So it gives full stamp duty exemption on those instruments of transfer and loan agreement for first home purchase with a value 500,000 and below. If purchased between 1st January 2021 until 31st December 2025. Okay, stamp duty on instrument of transfer and loan agreement means that S&P. When we sign S&P with the sales and purchase agreement, we purchase a house, we have to pay stamp duty. Buyer have to pay stamp duty. Okay, let's say Mr. A purchased a house at 500,000. Stamp duty, we got a table for us to compute. When the value is higher, you have to pay at a higher rate. So this is a computation, 500,000 pay 9,000 stamp duty. And when we get a loan from bank, also have to pay stamp duty. And we can't get 100% loan. Maximum is 90% on the purchase price. So let's say we get 450 only, 450,000 loan. Stamp duty on loan is 0.5%. So have to pay loan 2,250. So for those not yet buy your house and are eligible to buy the house, you can consider to buy it now. You can save quite a lot of money on stamp duty. And also, this actually, okay, the second stamp duty exemption, this is continue from last year. It means that for those abandoned project and there is a new contractor or developer to take over those abandoned housing project, they are entitled stamp duty exemption when those contractor or developer they apply bank loan from the bank, because their loan amount is quite a lot. Now you times 0.5% is a very huge amount. Okay, loan for them to continue to recover this abandoned project, loan is stamp duty exempted. How about for those original home buyer for this abandoned project? Okay, when they apply the loan again, also stamp duty exempted. Or if let's say they transfer the name, when you transfer or you sell it, people want to buy, the buyer also have to pay stamp duty, also stamp duty exempted on this abandoned project. And the next one is rent to own scheme until 2022 for Prima developments. Okay, this one also is a continue from the last year budget. What it means rent to own scheme. Actually, it's like when we want to buy a house, we must pay 10% deposit. House is quite expensive. Some are unable to pay the 10% deposit. So they got this scheme. They let you rent the house first. You pay rental, first 5 years you pay rental. Then at that time, when you want to consider to rent it, you must sign the agreement. Agreement you rent it for 5 years. And agreements that 5 years later you purchase this house, they will give you a price already, how much you purchase at that in 5 years later the price. So then for this situation, stamp duty also exempted for the house value and also for the loan agreement. Same like this one, you can save a lot. And also another project is 1.2 billion for low cost house. Low cost house normally is for those B40 group to apply. So government did take care for those in a low income group. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Now I will pass the floor to Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong will present on personal tax and corporation tax. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tan. So, I'm going to share about some changes on the tax from the context of company and also from the context of the individual tax. So maybe we go through the company first. So basically it was a good news for those who wish to doing a business in 2000, because the government is going to give a tax rebate. Okay, for those who want to do their business and then form a company or form an LLP, then they will be entitled for a tax rebate. But the tax rebate is limited to 20K per annum for 3 consecutive years. But before you want, before to entitle for this tax rebate, we have to fulfill certain conditions first, as stated by the financial bill. The first condition that you have to meet will be you must commence your business, meet your new business from this period to this period, and then make sure that your pay-up capital to not more than 2.5 million. Your business turnover to not more than 50 million. And any other requirement that as described by the minister you have met, then you're entitled for this tax rebate. Basically, this tax rebate, there will be a restriction. What restriction there will be for this tax rebate? So the maximum amount of rebate you'll be entitled will be 20,000. And then this tax rebate, although you fulfill all the conditions, doesn't mean that you can straight away claim this 20,000 tax rebate. Actually, this tax rebate was given in a way of dollar-to-dollar basis. What do you mean by dollar-to-dollar basis here? For example, if you incurred your operating expenses of 10K, then the tax rebate that you entitled to receive is only 10K. This means by dollar-to-dollar. But if you incur your operating expenses to 30K during that year, but your rebate will be restricted to 20K only. That's why what you mean by maximum of tax rebate is restricted to 20K. Maybe some of you up to this stage, you all may not know what I mean by tax rebate. Maybe this term may be not familiar with you all. Tax rebate is some sort like discount. Let's say, for example, let's say next year you calculate your tax, and then you find out that you need to pay 100K. You need to pay 100K to the government or internal revenue. When you have this rebate, you can straight away use this rebate 20K minus of the amount that you're supposing to pay. So end up you need to pay the 80K. So in other words, means that the tax rebate actually is more powerful than the tax relief that all the while we claim. Because tax relief only minus off our income. It just reduces our chargeable income. Then later on, you go to calculate our final tax. But this tax rebate is straight away, you use it to minus off against our tax payable amount. Some more, the government grant this rebate for us for 3 consecutive years. So it means that if you last year June just form your business, you'll be entitled for 3 years tax rebate, assuming that your operating expenses or operating capital is more than 20,000. So under these situations, you'll be entitled for a tax saving of 60K, assuming that your operating expenses is more than 20K. That's why it's very encouraged to people to do a business. The reason behind the government give this rebate is to encourage citizens to set up their own businesses. Because by setting up their own businesses, if we are able to help the government generate a revenue by way of tax. In addition, it will also stimulate the employment rate. So, on top of the tax rebate, there will be a bad news also for those taxpayers, because government have introduced a new rules on the filing requirement of the TP documentations. Because previously, if a person failed to submit their TP documentations, there will not be any penalty imposed to them. However, with the change of the new rules, or we can say a new act, or we'll insert a new act, can I say change that? By inserting a new act. Now, if the taxpayer fail to provide the TP document within 30 days, then they will be subject to a fine. The fine is very cheap, starting from 20,000 to 100,000. If you fail to pay the fine, it's okay. You get a free lunch and free dinner, free breakfast. Okay, you'll be imprisonment for up to 6 years. That's why I say that by inserting these new rules, it will be a challenge to a business. Because preparing a TP document is not an easy task. Someone, if you find you still to prepare and provide to the IRB, you'll be penalized. On top of that, the government also inserted a new rules by impose a surcharge on the TP adjustment. If the adjustment was made on the prices on the TP documentation, there will be a 5% surcharge imposed on the taxpayer. Again, taxpayer need to ensure that their TP pricing is accurate, or else they need to incur an additional cost. On top of that, as for the LLP, Limited Liability Partnership, last time they allowed to submit the tax returns by way of manual or e-filing, but in budget 2021, it was a compulsory for the LLP taxpayer to file the tax returns via e-filing. It's just a changes of method of filing the returns. As for the individual, I think these changes in the individual tax will be applicable only to the M20. Because these 1% reductions of the tax rate is only applicable to those chargeable income who is ranging from 50,000 to 70,000. Then only the tax rate will be dropped by 1%. After your relief, then you will not enjoy any reduction of the tax rate. Some more, this 1% reduction of the tax rate is actually not so attractive, because maximum tax saving that you can get from this 1% deductions for this band range, actually the max you can get the deductions is only 200 ringgit only. But as I say, it's better than nothing. But it's not so attractive. While the government also understand that during this COVID period, a lot of people will be being retrenched by the employer. So some of the company who will retrench the employee, or some of the company will ask their employee for the voluntary separation scheme, the company normally will give some compensations to the employee due to loss of employment. Technically, when the employee receives these compensations for loss of employment, money, their income will be subject to tax. Technically, they will subject to tax unless they fulfill certain conditions. The first condition that they fulfill, and then they will be exempted from paying the tax, will be due to ill health. Means that your employer fire you because due to your health problem, and then someone it was due to ill health. Then all the compensation money that you receive from the employer, you'll be 100% exempted. If not, if the compensation that you receive not under these situations, it may be under our current situation whereby we are being terminated by our employer due to slow down the economy or poor economy. Okay, because affected by the COVID, then the money you receive will be subject to tax. But you may entitled for what? Partial exemption on the compensation amount that you receive. So last time, under the new rules, before the budget 2021, if a person who receives a compensation for loss of employment, they will be entitled for 10,000 exemptions for each completed year of service. But now the government have uplift this amount. From 10,000, the government have uplift to 20,000. So it means that from now, for each completed year of service, with the same employer, the taxpayer will be entitled to receive 20,000. For example, the person received 100,000 from the employer. Or you receive a compensation 100,000, and then you work with the company for 3 years. 3 completed years. I'm talking about 3 completed years. So means that you will entitled for 60,000 exemption. So upon minus the partial exemption of 60,000, the balance of 40,000, this amount will be subject to tax. Okay, so this is how it works for this exemption for compensation for loss of employment. I personally think that the government should give full exemption. Okay, under current situation, it should not just uplift the amount. By right, it should give a full exemption. Whatever being terminated by the employer, who be terminated by the employer and receive a compensation, the compensation amount should be tax exempted. And then this is good news for those who like to travel. But I don't know whether it's safe or not safe. Now we go to travel. But what the government did will be, if you go for cuti Malaysia, and then you go and book the hotel, please remember you go to keep the hotel receipt, because you are entitled for a relief up to 1,000. But the travel period must be within this date. The travel period. So means that you still have time, you still can cuti Malaysia. But please take note, not all accommodations that you spend on will be entitled for relief, because your accommodation must be registered with the Tourism Malaysia. Means that if you go to rent, homestay, most likely you will not be entitled to claim for this relief. You go for book the hotel to stay, resort, most likely you'll be entitled for this. 1,000 relief. Maximum depends on how you spend. Okay, maximum you can claim up to 1,000. On top of that, if you go to Malaysia, you pay some entrance fee. Maybe you go to visit some tourist area or designated area. Okay, you need to pay some entrance fee to keep it, because you also get entitled for claiming the relief. But these two combined together up to 1,000 only lah. And then for SSBN, it just nothing changes, still remain. We can claim up to 8,000 for SSBN that we contributed. It's just that the government have extended the period that we entitled to claim the relief. By right, the SSBN entitlement will be expired on 2020. Means that after 2020, we are no longer eligible to claim the relief already on the SSBN. Now the government have extended for another 2 years, which is 2021 and 2022. If you contribute the SSBN, you still entitled to claim the relief up to 8,000. And then this is also a good news for parents, especially for those children who is not, the age not more than 6 years old. Actually, to me, it's also a good news. Initially, the childcare center, the childcare fee that we can claim as a tax relief actually is limited to 2,000. But now the government decided to increase for another 1,000. So means that now our tax relief for childcare fee it become 3K. And then please take note that the 3K child relief actually is effective from 2020 year or 720, means that effective from this year onwards, not next year. So means that this year we claim 3,000 instead of 2,000. Please take note. And then one thing I want to highlight to you all, it will be, let's say you have 2 children, both our children also below 6 years old. Both of them you also send to the kindergarten or kindergarten and nursery lah. Okay, don't think of wife claim 3K, husband you go and claim the 3K. Actually, is under the law cannot. Although you have 2 child, it will be either wife or the husband, or the husband can claim only. Either one of the parents will be entitled to claim for this child relief only. Although you have 2 children, and then please take note that please ensure that the child care center that you send is what I call registered with the Department of Social Welfare, or else you also not entitled to claim for the relief also. And then now we move to the study fees for the adult, for the working adult. For the study fee, the relief amount actually is remain the same. It still remain at 7,000. What changes have been made by our government, or it will be the government has expanded the scope of claiming these study fees, because previously only you taking this kind of courses, certificate, diploma, bachelor, master, doctorate, and then within this field or at this level, whatever field, you only can claim for the relief on your study fee. However, the government now has expanded the scope, whereby if you attending the course for upskilling or self-enhancement course in any field, you also entitled to claim the relief, but this amount will be limited only to 1,000 only, not 7,000, but limited to 1,000 only. And then, in order to entitle to claim for this 1,000, you need to ensure that the course that you attending is recognized by the Department of Skill Development or Minister of Human Resource. If the course is not recognized by this department, sorry, you are not entitled to claim for this relief. And then one more thing I want to highlight or to you or share with you on this study fee will be, if any one of a current you studying the PhD or the master, you need to take note on this relief also, because some of the colleagues that I know will be like this. The scenario like this: in 2020, you took the PhD. Definitely, you will pay your fees. Then PhD is qualified, ma? Am I right? You're going to claim. You're going to claim the relief. But in 2021, you're going to stop studying your PhD. You're going to stop studying. Then you may face a problem. What problem? The problem is your 2020 PhD fee, you will not entitled for relief. So means that you cannot claim. If you 2020 you study PhD, 2021 you stop studying, your 2020 PhD fee will not qualify for tax relief. If you claim it, then the IRB will go to penalize you. The reason given by the IRB is that you are not completing your course. You fail to complete your course. That's why you're not entitled to claim it in 2020. This is the thing that you should take note, especially those who wish to stop it and then change the university. Then you may face this kind of issue. You may be being queried by the IRB later on if you claim it. Okay, move on to this is a lifestyle relief. It's a good news for us for nice lifestyle relief, because the government has been increased the amount initially from 2005. Now they increase it to 3,000. So it means that we have additional 500 relief to be claimed. But this additional 500 actually is referring to what? It's referring to or limited to the purchasing of your sport equipment. Your entry fee or rental fee for the sports facility means that, let's say you like very much like to play badminton, you go to rent the badminton court. The badminton court rental fees, you can claim it as your relief. So please don't throw it away, the receipt. You want to throw it away, please give me. I want to claim. Okay? Because now you can claim it for the rental fees. And then if you are very active, you want to participate in the sport competitions, the participation fee, you're also entitled to claim for the relief, but still limited to 500. And for this participation in the sport competition, you need to take note, not all sport competitions that you participate, you'll be entitled for claiming the relief. Because as per IRB statement, the IRB informed me that the sport competition must be approved by relevant authority. What authority? I don't know yet. I'm still waiting for the guideline, but there must be approved by relevant authority. Means that there will be a list of authority or the person who organized this sport competition. Then only the fees that you pay for this organizer, you entitled for deductions. And then another changes that, not changes, another thing that the government have added in will be the expanding the scope of the relief, whereby last time previously, if you buy the e-newspaper, subscribe the e-newspaper, you're not entitled to claim for this lifestyle relief under this lifestyle relief. Now, start from 2021 onwards, if you buy the printed, e-newspaper, the fees you pay for e-newspaper also be entitled for the relief. That's why now I want to read the Star newspaper. Certain article also cannot read, or news I cannot read. Now they lock it already. Ask me to subscribe. So as for this tax relief, for 2020, actually, for information, is 2,005 for 1820, plus another 2,005. So means that actually for this year, our tax relief actually is not 2,005 actually. Actually, our tax relief is 5,000. What I say this year is 5,000 or 2,005 because under the Penjana, the government have informed that we will be entitled for a special relief. A special relief. Special relief of additional 2,005 for lifestyle relief. But this additional 2,005 lifestyle relief,
Mr. Wong, you are accidentally.
yes, no, okay. This 2,005 actually is limited to the purchase of handphone, notebook, and also for the computer only. Because now the government understand that everyone is locked, we are locked down. We need some IT gadget, okay, to do our work. So that the government encourages us to buy additional IT equipment. Okay, that's why we can claim additional 2,005. So those who intend to buy a new iPhone, I think it's a good timing for you to buy because you can claim additional 2,005 tax relief here. And then, and we have another thing on the mobile phone, laptop, and also a notebook also, that you can entitled for exemptions. For example, if let's say Utah buy us a PC to use for work from home, and then the PC is belong to me, then I will not be subject to income tax, because the law says that if your employer buy an IT equipment to you to use for working purpose, and then the laptop or IT equipment belong to you, then you no need to pay tax. But limited to the equipment value up to 5,000. And then this will be the PRS, Private Retirement Scheme. There's nothing special. It's just that the government have extended the period for us to claim the PRS for another 4 years, because this relief will going to expire in 2021. So the government will extend it for another 4 years, with up to 2015 we can claim the relief for this PRS. And then for your information, for this PRS, only the PRS that you bought from this agency, then only you entitled to claim for the relief. If other than this agency, sorry, something wrong with your PRS already, because Malaysia government only granted a license for this agency for the PRS. So you have to take note, you buy a PRS, you have to take note whether you buy under either one of this agency or not. And then move on. This is increase in the relief for disabled spouse. Initially, the relief amount is 3,500. Now it has been increased to 5,000. It's nothing to mention, nothing much to mention. It just increased the amount. And then now this one will be increased in the amount of the relief also for the parent medical expenses from 5,000 to 8,000. Is a good news, because medical expenses is not a cheap. It's not cheap, the fees. Okay, it is very encouraging for the government to increase the amount. In fact, these medical expenses will be include the medical item like the bills, okay, or medical bills. You also can claim, but provided that you must get an approval or a letter from your doctor. Let's say your parent is having a heart disease, okay? So every month, your parents need to buy some medicines from the pharmacy or from the hospital. Like you go to visit the hospital and then buy from the hospital. Okay, the medicines you bought either from the pharmacy or from the hospital, you also can claim it as a medical expenses. But provided that you have a letter from the doctor stating that your parents need to consume these medicines in a very regular manner. Okay, if your parents is, let's say, is a physically or mental disabilities, then you may need to employ someone to take care of your parents. Maybe you need to employ a maid if you're rich enough to take care of your parents, because your parents are unable to take care for themselves. So the money that you incurred for paying the maid, or you send your parents to the nursing home also can claim relief, but the condition will be you must get a letter from the doctors whereby your parents will not able to take care themselves. Okay, do not ability to take care of themselves. Then you'll be entitled for claiming this relief. Another thing will be if your parent is very healthy, then you may still claim a relief for 1,500 for your parents, for each of your parents. Means that father and mother, father 1,500, mother 1,500. So means the total you can claim is 3,000. But there will be a condition here. There will be a condition here for the entitlement to claim the relief. The condition that we need to fulfill will be make sure that your parent is age 60 and above. Your parents' income is not more than 24,000. And then most importantly will be make sure that your parent is a Malaysia tax resident. If your parent is Malaysian non-tax resident, sorry, you can't claim the 1,500 relief on your parents. And then now we move on the medical expenses also, but now it's for our own self, taxpayer itself, the relief. So the amount of relief has been expanded from 6,000 expanded to 8,000, which is a good news. But do take note that this medical relief actually is referring to what? Serious disease medical expenses. Serious disease medical expenses means that referring to the illness like the cancer, renal failure, or leukemia, or heart disease, only you're entitled to claim, or else you will not be entitled to claim. But the good news is the government has expanded the amount for the medical examination expenses that you can claim. Initially, from 500 ringgit, it has been expanded to 1,000 ringgit. Okay, now you can claim to 1,000 ringgit. And then another good news will be now the vaccine also will be entitled to claim for the medical expenses under this category, the vaccine. Okay, up to 1,000. Of course, including the COVID vaccine. So here is, I just want to show you that what you mean by complete medical examination, because this is how I say, start from 2001, you can claim the relief up to 1,000 for your complete medical checkup. A lot of people will face this kind of problem. They go to PP lab to go for so-called medical checkup, and then they go to claim for the relief. Then when during the tax audit at time, the tax officer refused the claim, or their claim was disallowed by the tax officer. The reason most probably is because the taxpayer do not fulfill all these conditions. Please take note, if you want to go for medical checkup, make sure that you fulfill all these 5 conditions. Then only you go to claim your medical checkup expenses as a relief, or else later on during the tax audit, you will be disallowed. You have done all these 5 things, they only consider full medical checkup, because the word given by the law, we say not only medical checkup, is the word full. Full here means all these things. Okay, last time IRB do not inform the taxpayer. Okay, what constitute the full medical checkup? Now, this year, I think in October, the IRB released this guideline. Say that if you fulfill all these 5, means it's a full medical checkup, then you'll be entitled for the relief. And then basically, this is a vaccine listed by in the budget, whereby we can claim the tax relief lah. This is a vaccine, okay. As I said just now, including the COVID-19. And then income tax finish already. This one actually is an indirect taxes. This indirect taxes is mentioning about the exercise duty. It actually is nothing special also lah. Okay, because under the old rules, if you are buying a whip device, or the whip liquid, there will be no exercise duty. But start from 2021 onwards, you buy the whip device or the whip liquid, you'll be also subject to exercise duties on it also. So, and then I think this should be the last slide. This one is referring to the disposal of residential property. If you dispose of your residential property during this period, whatever gain on disposal of your property will be tax exempted. Okay, will be tax exempted. And then the disposal, I think, is limited to the 3 property. Okay. I think that's all for my side. Okay, thank you. That's all for my side, I think.
Okay, right. So thank you so much, Dr. Tan Swee Kiao and Mr. Wong Tai Sing, for a very interesting and informative session. Yeah. So I suppose now let's move to the Q&A session. Looks like we already have quite a number of questions there. Maybe I'll just read it out and direct it to the right speaker. Yeah. So first we have a question from Hilary Hugh. In your opinion, do you think the current budget 2021 enough to mitigate and address unemployment issue among our local people? As we know, the rate of unemployment is still 4.5% until today, right? So I suppose this question is also in line with what's there in my mind, because I think Dr. Tan, earlier when you have your presentation just now, you did state that we expect to have about 6.5 to 7.5% of economic recovery. And
Yes.
I personally think that it's just my personal opinion. I think it's quite a tall order for us to achieve, given the fact that when we look at the economic indicator, like what stated by Hilary Hugh here, and unemployment is still at 4.5%. So what's your take on this? Thank you.
Okay. Actually, government did give incentive to those companies who send back foreign workers and replaced by local workers. Then they will give incentive. So this one will reduce a bit unemployment rate, but with a condition, what type of job? Because Malaysians are quite choosy. Those got the job, we call it 3D jobs, those dirty job, dangerous and difficult job, 3D job. Malaysian not willing to pick up. All this area is covered by foreigners. Just give one example, the Selayang wholesale market recently due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So MOS go there to test on the foreign workers. Some are illegal, so they all hide, all disappear. Then, okay, they also closed because got people got COVID-19. Then the boss there got a problem. You all ask them to employ local. Local don't want to do this kind of job because they have to push the trolley very heavy, has to wake up very early morning and it's dirty. And so the boss they said, we pay 100 ringgit per day. Quite attractive, isn't it? 100 ringgit per day. Not many locals want to do. Some work 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, disappear themselves. So we are to see. So I would say yes, reduce a bit, not all, due to our working attitude. Okay, this is my answer for first question. Any more questions?
Next question, we have one from Ong Uivun. For BPR, can a part-time student get bantuan under single individual income?
Uh, Actually, I will say yes. Last time I got one relative when she still study in university in Utah. She did get it. about 2 years ago, she did get it. Because you got no income, you are single. I mean, they can try to apply.
Okay, another question also from Ong Uivun. May I know what are the criteria to claim EIS? Is it terminated, being retrenched, resigned due to unfavorable terms proposed by the company where the individual cannot agree? And when is the period to make the claim? Is it from 16th of March 2020 to 31st December 2020?
As long as that person is jobless, don't care what reason, and he got contribute the EIS, the employment insurance scheme. Okay, from the day he is unemployed, he can apply from so from the day he can apply for 9 months. I mean follow the rate. Okay, the next question.
Okay, next one. This one, either of you could answer this, Mr. Wong or Dr. Tan. Do you foresee the incoming implementation of GST as the main revenue in addressing the increase in the government coffers and treasury in the future? As we know, our nation still rely on contribution oil and gas from Petronas and collection sales and service tax. So probably the attendee is asking of, do you think implementation of GST would be good to increase the revenue?
I don't think so. Because GST, if they implement back GST, it will be to replace the sales tax and service tax. Maybe the coverage may be wider, but it can't increase too much. Then it will increase the burden of our citizen. The tax is from us, so the main source of income still from company tax and individual and petroleum tax. Maybe Mr. Wong want to add on something.
Yes, Mr. Wong, your expertise here.
No, actually, I have a different opinion. I will say that by reintroducing the GST, definitely it will increase the income because the GST will tax based on transaction base. Each of the transaction undertaken by citizens, there will be a tax, no doubt. But there will be also another issue here will be our economy is not very good. So means that the purchasing power may not be as high. So the collection may not be as expected by the government. Plus, it will be also increase the extra burden to our businesses. If you incorporating a GST now, we introduce a GST now because you need to incur a huge sum of money to come up with the system to come up with the system to comply with the rules. Okay, so I think that currently is not a good timing.
Okay,
But maybe 1 or 2 years maybe.
Okay, I hope that answered to your question, yeah, Hilary Hugh. Next one, we have one from Priscilla Robert. Unlimited travel pass of 30 ringgit included for LRT as well, and how to apply?
Yes, LRT in Klang Valley, LRT, monorail, and those transit bus, rapid KL bus. Okay, how to apply? You can apply through the KL Central Station or those rapid KL customer service center. But in Penang and Kuantan not yet implement, I don't know where to apply.
Okay, right. So probably you could also get more information from reliable sources on the internet. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, next question coming from Caden Hugh. For the stamp duty exemption, is it eligible for the property that is more than 50,000 ringgit? Or as long as it is first home purchase, we are eligible for this benefit?
This is first home purchase. Purchase price not more than 500,000. First home purchase.
First home purchase, not
Ah,
more than 500K.
yes.
All right. So it's okay to have it more than 50K as long as it's less than 500K.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next question. Hi, can you please give examples of sports equipments? Does it include sports attire, shuttlecocks, rackets, etc.? Maybe that's Mr. Wong.
Technically, sport attire currently was disallowed by the IRB so means that we cannot claim for tax relief for the sport attire because the reason given by the IRB is that most of the time you buy a sport attire is for leisure instead of for sport purposes. Okay. As for shuttlecock, yes. Racket, no issue. As long as you can see whatever sport that been recognized or appear in the Olympic or Asia game, then that equipment you buy for the sport, the kind of sport purposes should be fine. You should be able to claim the relief.
Okay, right. Okay, next question regarding the ICNA KWSP. This one is very popular topic, I suppose. Does the withdrawing from the ICNA KWSP will eventually lead to the reduction amount of retirement fund, and thus the future will bleak as ICNR is main protection retirement fund for KWSP holders in the future? Thank you.
Okay, that's why IRB come up with a rule. Those who withdraw money under ICNA project, after that, when they work back after pandemic, they contribute EPF, all the money must go to account one. Account one is for retirement purpose. Until let's say if withdraw 10,000, so all the contribution from employer contribution and employee contribution all will go to account one until fully cover back the 10,000 withdraw. Then only subsequent contribution will go to proportion, follow 70% and 30% to account two. So still protect unless after this you are no more job, you are no more working, then yes, it will affect your saving for retire purpose.
Okay, so I guess the key is only withdraw if you really need to, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
if you don't have the necessity to actually use that kind of money, then probably just keep it there in your EPF. Right. Okay, next question. Here directed to Dr. Wong from Chim Wen Kong. Dr. Wong, is there any interest incurred during moratorium?
Actually, I'm frankly speaking, I'm also not sure about it.
Interest income. Okay.
I'm
yes,
not sure. I think yes, Dr. Tan, yes, right. I think they still impose, right?
Still pay interest, just will delay the payment. Still.
Okay, next question from Yu Sun T. Do we need to apply to claim the 100 ringgit for e-wallet?
I guess yes. Just like last year, not last year, I think early this year, they give a e-wallet 50 ringgit through the touch and what is it, touch and go or what, can't remember. We have to apply for it. Actually, I'm not so sure. The logically think we should apply now.
I think the previous one was through Boost application, one of the applications.
Yes, have to apply.
Okay, next from Ms. Ching, is there a threshold for the additional relief for lifestyle for laptop? Can I claim for relief if my laptop cost more than 2.5K?
Because restrict to 2005 only, lifestyle relief received to 2005. But just now I mentioned that we have special relief for another 2005, right? So you include the special relief, if it's a laptop, then shouldn't be a problem. You can claim the laptop is more than 2005 for 2020 lah. Because by right up to 2005 only you claim the laptop. But now we have special relief. The special relief 2005 also applicable for the laptop. So end up together we have 5,000 in hand to claim for the relief. If as long not more than 5,000, you should be okay.
I see.
Okay, I want to add on one point on this one. If I'm not mistaken, time frame is from 1st June to 31st December. You purchase that laptop. Correct?
Yeah, but must
there's
be this year. The special one must be this year.
From 1st June to 31st December. There's a time frame for it.
Okay, right. Next, is buying computer accessories entitled for tax relief?
Cannot. You must be a PC. Accessory cannot.
Okay. Vaccine claims, is it from 2020?
2021.
Okay, 2021. Okay. And then relief for PRS from Great Eastern, is it not eligible to be claimed?
Great Eastern is not fall under just now one of the categories I show. Therefore, is cannot unless the PRS that you're referring to, since you buy from the insurance company, maybe is referring to deferred annuity. Maybe if your is a deferred annuity, you buy from the insurance company, you may can claim because the 3,000 is referred to the deferred annuity and PRS. They were under the same category.
I see. Okay. I hope that answers to your question, yeah, Ching. Can the special relief lifestyle in year assessment of 2020 include printer? So
just now I mentioned already,
cannot. Yeah, not necessarily. It has to be the PC itself.
PC or laptop.
And what do you mean by parents must be Malaysian taxpayer? What if my mother never worked before? Can I claim?
Just now I mentioned is the parent must be Malaysia tax resident. Only you can claim the 1,005 relief. Malaysia tax resident means that you must fulfill the section 7, 1, A, B, or C, or D, either one of it. Maybe I give you a simple example. Let's say that your parent actually was not stay in Malaysia, maybe stay with your sister in Singapore. Only during the Chinese New Year, you only come back to Malaysia. So it means that your parent was in Malaysia less than 182 days. So your parent will not be a Malaysia tax resident. Under such situations, even though your parent is zero income, with 60 years old, you also cannot claim 1,005 due to his tax resident status, which is a non-resident. This is a simple example. There can be many possibilities. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I hope that answers your question, yeah, Mr. Jakjit. Next, how will budget 2021 influence Malaysia's debt?
I think that now we have a huge deficit. Most likely, we need to find some way to finance our 2001 budget.
So basically, our debt will still
either we go to borrow from other country, or we go and get additional revenue. As just how we say, maybe introduce GST, reduce the GST, or do a aggressive tax audit. This is also one of the way to increase our income. So most likely, if the government feel to get additional revenue either from the income tax or from other sources, most likely you go for borrowing. Then most likely we increase our debt.
So basically, we still would increase our debt.
Most likely will increase.
But I suppose it's pretty normal to have high debt for a nation. That deficit is like, definitely we would have a deficit. All right.
All the while, we actually have deficit budget all the while. But not say all the while, for the past 10 years, I would say that all is deficit. But this round deficit is quite huge. The figure is quite huge compared with last time.
Okay, next question. When EPF rate reduced to 9%, do you think its benefit for employee in terms of EPF deduction for individual taxation?
It depends on individual. If you need the money, yes, the 2% reduced earning is the cash in hand with you, you can spend it. If you don't need the money, I would advise don't just fill up the form, maintain at 11%. Think about the compound interest.
Okay. I suppose it boils back to the question of whether you need the money or not, right?
Yes.
Just like the ICNA KWSP just now.
Uh,
And then what if the stamp duty, what if the stamp duty is for strata title? Condo is ready to be transferred from developer to buyer. Is the exemption applied as well?
is it a first home purchase? And also look at the time period. The time period is from next year until I think 2025. Look at the time period it purchased, and is it a first house purchase or not? See the requirement.
So basically, as long as it's a first home purchase and it's within the period given, then
Yes.
you should be eligible for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Normally, a lawyer will advise on this one. Can ask the lawyer who do prepare the documents.
All right. So we really have a lot of questions here, but we actually do not have that much time. Probably I just take another couple of questions. Yeah. How do you see the future OPR rate?
I got no comment on it.
Mr. Wong, if you have anything to comment?
Frankly, I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. So far, it's still maintained for the past few rounds. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it all depends on the decision of Bank Negara Malaysia. We shall
Yeah.
just wait and see. Okay. Right. Most of the other questions are pretty similar to what we have answered earlier, but I'm so sorry, given the time frame, we could not answer to all questions, but of course, I'm pretty sure Dr. Tan and Mr. Wong is open to any question if they were to approach you personally. Am I right, Dr. Tan, Mr. Wong?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Wong and Dr. Tan Swee Kiao. Looks like we have come to the end of this talk. So if I could quickly conclude this talk, the topic for today, this budget 2021, we have the main theme of resilience as one together with Triumph, and basically it anchored on three main thrusts. We are looking at the rakyat's well-being, business continuity, and also economic resilience, right? So looking at the presented budget, I would say that it has been crafted in such a way to rejuvenate the nation's pandemic hit economy. So with the budget already been approved at the policy stage, now we basically inch closer to have it approved at the committee stage. But frankly, I think we are all now anxiously waiting what's going to happen next. Yeah. So, and I believe that for each and every one of us here, all we want is what's best for the nation, what's best for us, the rakyat. So with that, I thank you for your participation, for listening. And again, a big thank you to our speaker today, Mr. Wong, Dr. Tan. And see you guys again next year. All right. Thank you. Bye.